Hey everyone, welcome to another new episode of Cult Movie Tuesdays, right here on Night Owl Video, and today we are talking about heavy metal. Yes, so I hope you'll stick around. We'll be talking about cast, production, critical reception, my thoughts on the film, and a whole bunch more, so I hope you stick around. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who has decided to subscribe to my channel. I am now closing in on 220 subscribers, which is amazing. So thank you to everybody who has joined me, left comments, liked my videos. It's really awesome. I'm feeling a little blue lately, so all of your subscribing and comments and stuff has really kept me going. So thank you to everybody. I really appreciate it. So today we're talking about this film, Heavy Metal. You may have seen this movie, but some of you may have not. It's pretty old. This film is actually a Canadian adult animated film from the year 1981. It was the year 1981. Yes, this was directed by a person named Gerald Potterton, who also did some animation work on the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. This is a science fiction fantasy anthology film. Like I said, it's animated. This is kind of the SCTV alumni class of '81. So voice acting in this film was done by, among others, John Candy, Joe Flaherty, Eugene Levy. Harold Ramis also does some voice work in here. He is, of course, the director of National Lampoon's Vacation, as well as Groundhog Day. So yeah, it's a cool movie. I've actually shown this. You guys are probably sick of seeing this by now because this is about the third time I've shown this on the channel. Because this was kind of an exciting find for me, and I actually really love this movie. And I'm not a lifelong fan of this movie. I didn't see this till I was probably in my 20s, probably into the early 90s before I saw this. I didn't see this as a kid for some reason. You'd think it would be one that I played some D&D and listened to heavy metal. You would have thought I would have seen this back then, but I didn't. The synopsis for this film is adventures from deep space to futuristic New York and beyond. Each world and story is dominated by the presence of the Lochnar. The sum of all evils manifests as a glowing green sphere whose power infects all time, all galaxies, all dimensions. To some, it appears as a treasure, a green jewel they must possess. Others worship it as a god. Few escape it. Even in death, and through death, its powers continue. From war to war and world to world, it seems invincible. Now, I copy and paste my synopsis from Google, so sometimes they're not great. I'll read the one on the back because maybe it's a little more accurate. Inspired by stories from the fantasy graphics magazine Heavy Metal, this 5-part animated feature combines the talents of hundreds of artists and animators from 17 different countries. A glowing green orb called Lochnar that contains the sum total of all evil in the universe travels through space and time, spreading violence and discord in its wake. The stories demonstrate Lochnar's malevolent presence throughout the universe. So it doesn't actually give you a lot more detail on the film, but I'm not gonna do a deep dive on each segment because that would take way too long. This film, like I said, is an anthology of science fiction and fantasy stories tied together by that single theme of the sum of all evils. It was adapted from a heavy metal magazine and original stories in the same spirit. Its production was expedited by having several animation houses working simultaneously on different segments. Despite receiving mixed reviews by film critics upon its initial release, the film was a modest success at the box office and has since achieved cult status, which is why I'm featuring it today on Cult Movie Tuesdays. A sequel titled Heavy Metal 2000 was released in the year 2000. I have not seen that film. I saw that tape at a store one day and I almost bought it, but I don't know why. I was probably in one of those moods where I was just like, I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff, and I didn't end up buying it, which I kind of regret now, because I do kind of want to see it and see like how it compares to this one. The film uses the rotoscoping technique of animation in several shots. This process consists of shooting models and actors, then tracing the shot onto film for animation purposes. Fantasy illustrator, and I'm going to butcher this name, but Chris Achelios designed and painted the iconic promotional poster right here, commissioned in 1980, that features a central character, Tima, on her bird-like steed. So that, I don't know if the picture, no, it's the same size. I'll see if I can get a little closer, but that's a pretty iconic image that's been used obviously on the movie poster and for a lot of the physical media releases, maybe all of them. I don't think I remember seeing a copy of this movie without that image, so it's pretty famous. The film was released on August 7th of 1981. It was a financial success, grossing over $20 million on a $9 million budget. The soundtrack for the film is probably, a lot of people think of this movie, they think of the soundtrack, because it was a kind of a hit record when it came out. It had a whole bunch of different artists on it, like everything from Devo all the way to like Black Sabbath. And then the score itself, like for the film, the soundtrack score was done by Elmer Bernstein, who's done a lot of stuff. Now, I didn't realize this until I did my research for this review, but apparently the Netflix series Love, Death, and Robots is a reimagining of heavy metal. So if anyone knows more about that, please leave it in the comments. Like, I didn't realize that, and I started to watch that show, and I couldn't get into it, and so now I feel like I want to go back and revisit it, because I had a couple of heavy metal magazines as a kid, but I wasn't like super into it. But I kind of feel like I want to revisit that one now. So like I said, this film had a really mixed review upon release. The film currently holds a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, if that means anything to you. One critic said, quote, "It's sexist, juvenile, and dated, but heavy metal makes up for its flaws with eye-popping imagination and a classic, smartly used soundtrack." So I'm kind of thinking, like, I just did Fire and Ice a couple of weeks ago. Kind of, it's in that realm, that vein. So for home media releases in 1983, heavy metal aired on HBO, and then again in 1991. So it was available for a while, and then it wasn't available for some time. Prior to its official release on VHS and Laserdisc in 1996, the film was re-released in 54 theaters on March 8th of 1996, remixed in Sony's 8-track SDDS audio system, taking in an additional $550,000. So I don't remember that at all. But like I said, the 90s were kind of a blur for me. I was so busy with work and family stuff, and I just really wasn't paying much attention to pop culture, so I did miss that. Of course, that was also around the time that Star Wars got re-released to the movie theater in the special editions, and I was really into that, so maybe that kind of overshadowed it. I also live in a small city, so maybe this didn't come to our theater. I don't know, but it did come back to theaters for a while. In the subsequent video releases, the first animated film issued on the VHS format to be THX certified moved over 1 million units. So when this finally did come to home media, it was a huge hit, and I'm going to guess that's why it became kind of a cult hit. The film was re-released on Blu-ray in February of 2011 as a Best Buy exclusive, and a remastered 4K edition was released last April, just a little over a year ago. So I can't remember who put that out. It might have been Sony Columbia, but my thoughts on this film, again, I didn't see this till I was a little older, but I still did really like it. I like the animation. You know, now that I think about it, maybe I was in my late teens when I saw this. I think I did see this in the late 80s, maybe. Although, how would I have seen it? Maybe it was a bootleg or something? I don't know. And maybe my information is not 100% accurate. It may have had another VHS release. Again, people, you can leave in the comments. My brain's getting old and certain memories are getting a little foggy, but now that I think about it, I do remember seeing this when I was in my late teens. And I was immediately captivated by it, like especially the opening scene with the orb going towards that girl, like, and then there's the scene where, you know, John Candy's doing the voice of like a cab driver and he meets this like sexy lady and that whole thing. And so it was like kind of charming to me, like in a very awkward, weird way. The soundtrack is really good. I'm not sure if it 100% matches the theme of the film, but also I just remember that scene with the car going through space. I always thought that was a really cool image, which kind of made me think of like old vehicles going through space, like in Star Blazers. You know, they had the USS Yamato or whatever it was. I always thought like old earthbound technology in space was really cool. So I do remember that from this film as well. This edition, as I've showed off a couple of times already, this is the 2003 Superbit edition. See on the inside, you can see there's some images from the film there. I hope the glare is not too bad. On the inside, it's a pretty snazzy looking edition, actually. This is just the chapters card, I think. Oh no, wait, hold on now, hold on. Yeah, this is just the chapters card. That's kind of a cool image on the front there, and that is really like clearly probably from an edition of the Heavy Metal magazine. And then this is just another booklet showing you all the Superbit titles that you could get. I don't know what happened to this. This was probably maybe 2003, so it was like several years before Blu-ray and HD DVD, so they were probably trying to find even like a better picture quality. So Superbit was it. They should have trademark. They should have said Superbit is it. But yeah, this is supposed to have like superior picture and sound quality. But yeah, this is a really cool movie. This edition's quite cool. So as some of you know, I have always collected movies all my life, very like minimally. And then the last years, but especially since the pandemic, I went really full tilt and built my own library, as you can see behind me. And so I added this one to my collection, but I've been actively thrifting for about 3 years, and I just found this a couple of weeks ago, and this is the first time I've ever seen this out in the wild. So I don't know how common it is. I do have it on VHS as well, which is cool. So this was an upgrade. I don't know if I'll get rid of the VHS, but I may hold on to it just because that's kind of cool. But yeah, this is Heavy Metal. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this movie, what your thoughts are on it. If you were a Heavy Metal magazine fan. If you didn't like it, you can let me know as well. I remember this film being, maybe just because there's so many different animators working on it, that it did feel at times a little disjointed, but I think for 1981, this was actually quite brilliant. So you can currently rent this on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and Google Play Movies. I did not find a free copy anywhere. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this film. Is it one of your old school favorites, or maybe you saw it later in life and thought it was real cheesy? This is rated R. It is approximately 90 minutes. This is put out by Columbia TriStar. Yeah, DVD. Region 1, I would say. Yes, Region 1. Yeah, I'm trying to see else. This was also produced by Ivan Reitman. Trying to see if there's any other cool names in here. But yeah, it's a cool movie. I like this movie. Again, let me know your thoughts on it. Give me the thumbs up if you like this review. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. If you like physical media, movie reviews, and thrifting hauls, I try to do my best on all these. So thank you again, everybody who subscribed and give me a thumbs up and commented. And until next time, so this week, actually, I should say before I go, tomorrow I have another small thrifting haul video. Friday is a re-upload of People Under the Stairs because I screwed up. Somebody did leave me a comment, and I should have made note of who it was. I deleted the video from my playlist because what happened was I uploaded my black hole review, but it was titled People Under the Stairs, and that was my fault. So sorry to anybody who was going on there hoping to see People Under the Stairs. And thank you to whoever that was that brought that to my attention. So this Friday will be a re-upload of the People Under the Stairs review. And then on Saturday is my 1-year anniversary, and I am doing my entire, I hope, my entire VHS collection. So going over all my videos. And it may have to be split into 2 parts because I do have quite a few tapes, but I'm going to try to squeeze it into one video. But that's coming Saturday, my 1-year anniversary. So that's pretty cool and pretty exciting. So anyway, that's it for me for today. Until next time, I will see you at the video store or the thrift store or maybe floating in outer space. I don't know. But until then, take good care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Bye.